Good evening, everyone. As Daniel said, I'm a member of the Government Transition Advisory Committee, also known as the GTAC, and we are a 15-member advisory committee made up of volunteers appointed in March of 2023 to serve until March of 2025. Our role is to ensure effective and efficient implementation of the November 2022 voter-approved charter changes, engage the public, and provide strategic advice to the city. Representing diverse sectors and views, we're united in involving Portlanders for a successful transition to a new form of government and election system. You have an important role this evening. We want to hear what you think about the recommendations our committee has drafted to guide our future city leaders and address past challenges. Your input will improve how Portlanders are heard and considered when decisions are made about our city. Next slide, please. I want to share the goal of these recommendations, which is to advance outcomes that Portlanders have told us they want, which are for the city to be coordinated, that is, to work in unison, accountable, so to communicate goals and values clearly every step of the way, accessible, to inform Portlanders and connect them to government services, responsive, to quickly address emerging issues that harm Portlanders, and equitable by prioritizing solutions and services for people who experience the most disproportionate impacts of social, economic, and public health challenges. Next slide, please. Our recommendations can be broken up into 4 key categories. 1, accessing city councilors and city services. 2, participating in city council decision-making. 3, participating in the city's budget process. And 4, setting up council committees in the new government structure. Next slide, please. I want to tell you how the next part of the presentation will go. First, I'll share some of what we heard when we conducted a short community engagement period in March, when Portlanders shared their opinions in community listening sessions and through a survey. Second, I'll share our committee's draft recommendations to future city leaders, which are based on research of peer cities, our experience and discussions, and early community engagement. Third, we'll launch a poll to get a sense of what's resonating with you and help us guide our small breakout group discussions. Let's begin. Our first set of recommendations is on how to improve access to city council and city services. I want to highlight some key themes. When we asked, what is your experience with city council? The number 1 experience responders expressed when trying to get in touch with city council was a lack of responsiveness and accessibility. Many expressed the inaccessibility of council sessions, including the geographic location of City Hall and time of day. Another barrier was a lack of understanding of the city council and the city staff decision-making processes. We also heard the need for clear communication and centralized information about city council. Responders told us that the current communication methods like the city's website and council agendas are barriers to participation. Furthermore, the various silos in which information is located across the city website makes it challenging and overwhelming to use. Also, council agendas are difficult to sort through to understand what will be decided and when. Finally, we heard that there is a perception of unaccountable decision-making and a lack of transparent process. Many shared the belief that public input does not impact council's decisions. Council members are perceived as prioritizing the interests of specific groups, such as the nonprofits they fund or those with greater financial resources, over those of the broader community. Commenters also highlighted the frustration of engaging with council when agenda items change last minute without sharing the reason for changes. So to improve access to city council and city services, we recommend, first, establish a centralized system to track all city questions, requests, or issues. The system should assign each request a tracking number, direct it to the right staff or elected officials, and help ensure that issues are resolved. Second, develop a website that allows community to easily follow council activities like where they are in the legislative process, upcoming decisions, and constituent issues and resolutions. Third, a unified public input system is needed where people can find and participate in all the city's current opportunities to provide feedback on programs or projects. And I'll pass it to Daniel now to get our poll started.
Welcome. Well, thank you, Juliet. And I think we will soon be prompted with a poll via the Zoom. This is one of 5, and here it is in front of you. For those of you that are participating over your phone, you might need to do a scrolling function. For others that are at a desktop, you might need to widen it to see the full poll. I can see the answers in real time, and I see that there's about 20 some of you in the room. And so for those of you that might be, I can't see your faces, we are asking for your participation. And part of these responses will be used when we are discussing some of the feedback in the breakout session. So we do encourage you to really think about these questions. And the question is, rank which recommendations would best improve how Portlanders access city council and city services. And for fun, we decided to begin practicing ranking. So please rank the importance here. The poll does not have an option to add something. Donna, great comments. Let's bring that up in the breakout sessions later, please. In the meantime, let's go ahead and rank the options here. All right, I think about 14 of 27, about half of us have participated. Some of us are staff and or GTAC members. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're about done here with the poll. So let's end the poll and share the results very quickly. So of the 16 of you that participated, your voice was heard and captured here through the magic of a Zoom survey. There's a light blue and a dark blue, as well as an orange color here. So for option A, it seems that tracking system for all city questions or requests is best. Looks like option B, online hub for city council activities is second best, and then least best is a citywide public input tool. But again, we'll talk more about what these results mean in the breakout sessions. So Juliet, please carry on.
Thanks again, Daniel. In March, when we asked Portlanders about their hopes for your future city council members, including how they spent time in their districts, some themes we heard include that we should prioritize district engagement. Many respondents wanted councilors to spend time outside City Hall in their districts, actively engaging residents. Engagement can include attending and hosting events like district town halls, newsletters, and office hours. We also heard the desire for collaboration and coordination amongst the 12-member council for the entire city's well-being. Many noted the importance of balancing attention between citywide issues and district-specific concerns. The last theme I'll mention is that East Portland residents expressed a stronger desire for in-district offices compared to residents from other districts. So to improve access to our city councilors so that they better serve their district's needs, we recommend that councilors, 1, hold regular office hours and town halls in their districts, 2, attend community events in their districts, and 3, provide regular, predictable district-specific communication through newsletters, social media, and websites. And furthermore, we also recommend that the city conduct a robust community engagement process to determine what programming, including district offices, Portland's want in their districts. And I'll pass it back to Daniel now to get our next poll started.
Thanks, Juliet. All didn't realize you're going to be pulled so often, huh? So again, we are looking for information on how should we access, or what sorts of access does community think tonight? And again, we are looking for responses to 4 questions, and ideally we'd like to rank them. Donna brought up a great point. If there's something that's not on there, let's bring those up at the breakout sessions. If you have opinions of ways that this is structured, let's also bring those up at the breakout sessions, please. That feedback is going to be very helpful. Rank these by how important they are for your city councilors to represent your districts effectively. I'm going to give us about another minute. Is it
Daniel,
ranked? Yes.
yeah, the fourth one is just cut off. Because the poll doesn't allow that much room. So if you
Oh.
could read them. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Sure. Rank these by how important they are for your city councilors to represent your district effectively. A, councilors hold regular office hours and town halls in the districts. B, councilors attend community events in districts. C, councilors provide regular, predictable, district-specific communication. Or D, the city engages the community to find out what programming, including district offices, Portlanders want in their districts. I think we have about half of the folks participating, so I'm going to end the poll. And Mary, we can bring up that issue at the discussion. I'm going to share the results. Here they are. It seems that this isn't a surprise to me anyway, that the majority of folks felt that the way to access counselors is through regular office hours and town halls in the districts. And for these other sort of things, we can talk through and about them at the breakout session. So I'll save the comments for that. I'll stop sharing. Juliet, keep going, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Daniel. When we asked community members how they prefer to give input to city council, many expressed a desire to be involved earlier in the decision-making process. They often felt that by the time decisions were discussed in council meetings, those decisions were already final. Community members also expressed a desire for increased accountability from decision makers in considering and responding to their input. They suggested implementing a system to track public input through various committees. And last, many community members expressed that providing public input could be more accessible with opportunities to participate in the evening, on weekends, and at locations other than City Hall. So to improve how Portlanders can participate in city council decision-making, we recommend first that public input on policies be given primarily in council committee meetings instead of full council meetings. I want to note that city council committees are small groups of councilors assigned to closely examine policy matters relating to specific topics or themes. While Portland doesn't currently have council committees, they are common in other cities with mayor-council forms of government and support more effective public discussions in the legislative process. Second, council should solicit input outside of regular council meetings through neighborhood meetings, town halls, office hours, surveys, and social media platforms. Third, public comment on items not on council's agenda should still be allowed during full council meetings. And finally, that diverse perspectives and lived experiences should be represented, and communities historically left out of City Hall decision-making should have a significant voice. I'll pass it back to Daniel now to get our next poll started.
Thanks, Juliet. So this is the third poll, and again, it's ranking these in order of their potential to best improve public participation in city council decision-making. The options are A through D. A, use council committee meetings as the primary venue for public input and subject matter expert involvement. Let me repeat that. Use council committee meetings as the primary venue for public input and subject matter expert involvement. B, council solicits input outside of council meetings. C, allow public comment on items not on council agenda during full council meetings. Or D, ensure diverse perspectives and lived experiences are represented and communities historically left out of City Hall decision-making have a meaningful voice. Option D, I'll read it again, ensure diverse perspectives and lived experiences are represented and communities historically left out of City Hall decision-making have a meaningful voice. A is use council committee meetings as the primary venue for public input and subject matter expert involvement. These are hard questions, huh? Let me give it another 15 seconds and then I'll close the poll. Okay. And it looks like folks were more wedded to option A there. Again, we'll get more into this when we discuss, and I know that Alyssa is screenshotting the results. All right, take it away, Juliet.
All right. So earlier this spring, we surveyed volunteers who participate in budget advisory committees and city employees who staff those committees for their opinions about community engagement in the budget process. The first key takeaway from that survey was that providing more and earlier engagement would likely improve outcomes. Many noted the need for early, accurate, and accessible information about the budget and the need to build community relationships to get people engaged. The second theme we noted was a need for clear guidance about the community's roles and involvement. There were many concerns raised about budget advisory committees, including lack of training, information, time to do their work, and authority. Many expressed uncertainty about whether leadership actually even considers the recommendations. So we have 7 recommendations to improve community engagement in the city's new budget process. 1, start engagement earlier and diversify the methods for input. 2, build and maintain relationships with community-based entities, focusing on communities historically left out of City Hall and city decision-making. Budgets have real-world impacts on communities of all shapes and sizes, not just geographic, but also ethnic and issue group communities. Nurturing these relationships can better provide information earlier in the budget process. 3, provide accurate and accessible budget information that involves communication tools and being straightforward, clear, and timely. 4, centralize primary responsibility for the design, coordination, and implementation of community engagement in the budget process in the city administrator's office. Research shows that cities with model budget processes have a centralized engagement entity. This type of entity creates tools, communication elements, hosts meetings, and manages engagement opportunities. The budget office should focus on number crunching while the centralized entity handles engagement. 5, communicate openly and honestly with the public and ensure feedback loops. Be transparent about budget challenges and communicate them early. 6, host in-district budget town halls. And 7, dissolve bureau-specific budget advisory committees, explore service area advisory committees, and assess and revisit the citywide community budget advisory board. The current structure of budget advisory committees necessitates reconsidering these committees. Some budget advisory committee members see potential value in these committees, but they are not currently effective. And it's back to you now, Daniel.
Thank you, Juliet. Okay, this is our 4th of 5th poll. Select the top 3 actions that best increase community participation in the budget process. Let's see, the first selection is earlier and more diverse engagements, increased relationships with communities historically left out of decision-making, centralized budget process engagements in the city administrator's office, open and honest communications and feedback, in-district budget town halls, explore alternative community budget advisory boards or committees. So we're looking for you to pick the top 3. There's 6 ideas here. There might be others that the GTAC has not identified. We want to hear about those, and we're going to listen and hear about those in the breakout sessions. I told you the breakout sessions are the best part because there's so many interesting ideas that come out of discussion. I'm gonna give it another 15 seconds. It looks like almost everybody has completed the poll. End the poll, share the results. We are all over the map on this one. I think that's a good problem to have. I'd be curious to, I'm sure the GTAC will be as well, as they have these facilitated conversations in the breakout rooms. Budget town halls seem to have risen to the top, but not a clear winner otherwise. But thank you. This is why we're doing the polls. Thank you, everybody. Juliet, take it away. What's our next prompt here?
Well, funny you should ask, Daniel. Our full recommendations document also identifies a set of communication tools to help Portlanders understand the city budget process. Some examples of communication tools being used elsewhere to some success include Budget 101 presentations or videos, interactive game-like activities, reader's guide to the budget, a one-page overview document, information available in languages other than English, and a public blog with postings from all city entities who are working on the budget. And now it's back to you, Daniel, for the final poll.
The final poll. So we're going to be selecting the top 3 tools that would help you best understand the city's budget process. So of the ideas you've heard, please pick the top 3 that you think would be most useful for you as you think about the city's budget process. What would help you better understand the city's budget process, or a way for you to consider engaging in the process? And again, there are probably going to be other outstanding ideas that come out of the discussions. Which is why they're draft recommendations. This is why you're all here, to help inform and refine ideas. Wow, it seems like people were very quick to understand and name how they wanted to be communicated with. Seems like we have the majority of folks participating. So I'm going to close the poll. This is the fastest poll. You all got the hang of that. Here are the answers. Once more, not really one that sort of rose to the top. A reader's guide to the budget and a budget 101 presentation or video seems to be the top responses here. Really interesting, and I'm sure we're going to, again, learn more at those discussions. So thank you everyone for participating in the poll. And with that, I will be sure to let Juliet close us out.
Thanks so much. The feedback we heard about council committees largely focused on ensuring that committees were accessible to the community, had equitable representation, and were responsive to emerging community needs. One clear takeaway was the desire to see equitable representation of districts, subject matter expertise, and representation of marginalized communities in council committees. There's also a desire for committees to have clear criteria, measurable outcomes, and timelines to increase communities' awareness and access to council decision-making. Many commenters expressed their preferences of council committee topics. The most popular topics were livability, public safety, sustainability, and a little bit of governance. Many did not comment on specific committee themes at all and instead expressed their desired outcomes from committee topics. These included: 1, preventing duplication of topics across committees and jurisdictions so community members know who the decision makers are and where to advocate most effectively. 2, ensuring council topics are selected in a way that distributes authority over city resources evenly. 3, prioritizing responsive committee topics and procedures. And 4, finally, with limited resources, prioritizing transparent and accountable committee processes over a set number of committees or specific topics. For city council committees, we recommend 6 council committees plus a committee of the whole with 4 to 6 members each and representation from each district on every committee. We recommend that each counselor hold an equal number of committee assignments and at least one committee leadership role as a chair or vice chair. And we recommend that the standing council committees could include the following: the committee of the whole, government performance and finance, public health and public safety, transportation and infrastructure, community development, sustainability and climate, housing and homelessness, community engagement, equity, and communications. So thank you for listening to all the recommendations. On behalf of the GTAC, I really want to thank you in advance for your time and providing your feedback. And I will now turn it back over to Daniel.